is the Runecast for Winter Solstice 2025. We are covering Winter Solstice, Mother's Night, and Yule through 12th Night in this Runecast. This is the medicine of shadow. Every year I make the Solstice Runecast publicly available so that anybody who wants to read it can, partly so that folks can see what a full Runecast comprises, and also because the runes in these casts hold impact not just for this week, but throughout this half of the year. If you receive guidance from this Runecast, and you want to join Runes for Change, you can get Runecasts at this caliber in full every week. And all you need to do is go to soulintentarts.com/join. In this Runecast, we're talking about the runes of Winter Solstice, of Hulda's Eve, Yule Eve, Mother's Night, Yule, which is the 25th, give or take, of December, depending on how your tradition fosters that, and through the end of Yule, which is somewhere around 12th night in early January. Keep in mind your mileage may vary. These traditions, these holidays, these holy days are different for different traditions. Jera is the half-month rune through the 28th of December, at which point we move into Eihwaz until the 13th of January. The ecosystem allies include our seasonal death-helping spirits, holding space as we delve into the dark time and approach the wild hunt. We're held by direction within, with element plant tending our agency, and season winter setting the pace. From right to left is Jera, then Eihwaz. Some people say Eihwaz. Jera is the rune of harvest, or of hearth accounting, as I call it. It points to the conclusion of an active season in which we celebrate the spoils, set aside what must be saved for winter, and lay plans for next year's planting season. It's the time of inventory and strategizing. It's curious that we do this abundant sojourn after the hearth's introduction to the second et. I made a video about the winter runes last week in which I discuss how they set our tone for the remainder of the Futhark. We exit the first et somewhat blissful, assured, and feeling held. Then we immediately drop into the second et with Hagalaz and abrupt change, only to require deep ritual with Naldis to mend ourselves through it. The chill of Issa leaves us still, quite possibly restless, and needing to be fully prepared before we can take on the rest of that et. What's more curious is that we come through that jolt and we aren't met with the medicine and nurture of Prakana, or the community, empowerment, or interdependence of other runes. No, we have Jera, year, cyclicity, seasonality. We're met with a supportive reprieve, sure enough, but one that comes with a reminder that this will happen again, so be prepared. Take the lulls, store the spoils, and lay out plans for the next time we get dropped into something way over our heads. What does that say about life as we're meeting it now? Where are the places that we can reserve a little, put some back for a rainy day, or the lessons we've learned about what to never do again, or what we should do more, maybe even often? Jera is the time to sit with the fruit of the year, to enjoy it as we do our winter death walking and our shadow work. It's sustenance for the job, and this season helps us feel aligned with sacred order when we likely feel anything but after that winter trio. It helps us reacclimate with place and timing, which is a deep honoring of cycle at the most divine levels. In Runic Book of Days, I call Jera a second wind, the reprieve before spring, the time to get things in order to plan for next year. Let's talk about the solstice for a minute. More on point, Jera is the rune of December solstice. It's the rune of finding the light in darkness, which we may do well to apply to our experience with the winter runes. We survived. We have options before us. We're the ones who must choose the way we go forward. Solstice represents a suspension of time, as well as certain tension. In the north, December solstice is the day of least sunlight, most darkness, while in the south, it's the day of most light, the shortest darkness. Because we track time by these light and dark opposites, we forget to be attentive to what exists between these polarities, which is what solstice really epitomizes. We emphasize the length or shortness of day at solstice, though what makes solstice truly special is its focus on those protracted moments between light and darkness. It's a space of time untime, connecting our old relationship with timing to a new one. But in order to do that, we must be willing to let go of our expectations of time and timing and instead embrace cyclicity and what it needs of us. Thus, when we work with Jera as the rune of December solstice, it encompasses not just the full spectrum of solstice day, as in both extremes of light and darkness, but also neither and something other all at once. That something other is a gap between the known with unique qualities we can tap into. Everything we've been, everything we are, and everything we're becoming is in that gap. December solstice dials that in a bit further in that it's focused beyond the light and dark of the day. It's also focused on the light and dark of the year. For this reason, it's a good time to examine what has been before. Let the healing power of darkness do its job to death walk what must go, center shadow parts that need expression, and allow the forces of nature to clean it all out on the wild hunt. These ancient observations and rituals around darkness gave us the opportunity, while held safely in nature's long night, to do that soul excavation so that we wouldn't carry those heavier aspects of self into the light of the new year, into the planning of the new harvest. The half moon prompts for working with Jera are what came up around summer solstice that's coming to fruition now, what is dawning in life that needs focus now. Let's look at Eihwaz, which is our half-month rune through the 13th of January. We move into Eihwaz after solstice on the 28th of December. In that murky time where the bright festivities of Jera lull momentarily, we remember just how dark it really is and are charged further with remembering we have to rise to the occasion. Again, given that timing and seasonal demand that Eihwaz follows is serendipitous. Eihwaz means you. It's steeped in lore around life, death, and something between. Yew is an evergreen said to defy death, yet so poisonous that it can kill. It bounds graveyards to protect the dead and was used to make the strongest of arrows. As animists, we can faithfully take from that amalgamation of features that you, thus Eihwaz, were strong presences, literally. They would have been acknowledged beings in their own right. In many ways, Eihwaz brings the more mature take on the first et. We are soul and form. Initially, our experience of the first et is new, shiny, and very likely fun. It's the epitome of innocent frolicking to hone how we apply our agency. It is the play is work of childhood. But we can't come through entry into the second et with only poetry and glittering agency. We can't enter the hardship of life without realizing there's a great deal more demanded of us. And despite how fondly we may look back on our formative runes, we're now charged with holding that bright optimism amidst really challenging times. Through Hagalaz Nauthiz, and Isa, we learn how little control we have over the external world, how much attention our internal world requires, and how imperative it is that we learn what it needs and give it. By the time we get to Eihwaz, we can't think of our mortality without thinking of our divinity, and we can't think of our divinity without thinking of our mortality. They are inseparable. This ties into a subtler aspect of Eihwaz that I think makes folks uncomfortable. Sometimes poison is needed. We have to acknowledge our shadow selves. We have to acknowledge the shadow of the world, of being, of other. We have to realize that sometimes we're required to be the poison in order to evoke the change needed for ourselves, communities, or the collective. That kind of thinking isn't comfortable to our naive first et selves, yet it is exactly what Eihwaz teaches us to embrace. It's neither good or bad, shadow or light. It is, and we are. This is the midpoint Futhark lesson of Eihwaz. We're not the pretty babies of the first et, though we are savvy darlings who know how to set boundaries, look out the window and see the weather, engage our cosmological resources to stay the course of what we came here to do, come what may. We're now prepared. We're now willing to be who we truly are, not what we wish ourselves to be. Some prompts for working with half-month rune Eihwaz are: what facets of self were highlighted at summer solstice, June solstice? What acceptance of tending do they need right now? The cosmology scape. Luckily, we have strong allies helping us hold our polarities this week. Direction indicates how we best ground for our work at this time. The primary four directions uphold the connection between earth and other. They're our safe place. They are our highway to what lies beyond our five senses. When a direction beyond these cardinal directions shows up for us in the Runecast, we're being directed to relationships beyond Midgard and are encouraged to explore our roots, bonds, and ancestors in those places. Within is the direction holding space for us this week. Some folks may call that center. It is the direction focusing who we most deeply are. Within is who we are beyond the rising sign, beyond the face we present to the world. It represents the secret tunnels within us. It represents our torso, nervous system, our gut instinct. It speaks directly to our animism, our personal relationship with being on the planet, and our capability of allowing body to be both the boundary for and determiner of our experience here. If within is a verb, I think of it along the lines of to orient, to get our bearings. Center doesn't act outward, it aligns. It is the verb that tells us where we are in relation to everything else. To center is to locate self honestly, to feel the pull of all directions at once without being dragged by any single one. Center makes the map usable. Within reinforces that we have to take that initiative. We have to set parameters. In other words, our agency doesn't just do, we must do agency. It informs us that there are parameters to be set as well as we have to take action on them. As in, if we don't allow the examination of Jera and the willingness to do what must be done of Eihwaz, we become more likely to lose the thread of what we came here to do. We have to confront what holds us back from that introspection and choice in moving on. Our spirit helpers can't do it for us. It was never their job to do on our behalf, but apparently now more than ever, they aren't in a place to intervene. Within is the direction of the center of who we are, our center of personal cosmology stretching out into all things. It is soul informed. It is animisming in interdependence and belonging. It's our direct personal relationship to being here, now, embodied. It reiterates our accountability to formed being, the reminder that we have a foot in both worlds that meet at the heart. Despite that the heart and passion can easily dictate how we move among, we're challenged to remember to move with our whole selves, with our whole within. It both exalts what is wonderful about being in form while fully honors that we're also other. It fosters us to remember that we do not and cannot forego honoring all of who we are. We literally do not have to choose. Elements are the active components of everything. They are how things get done. They facilitate our agency. This week, our elemental ally is plant. Plant, in many ancient creation myths, is the first ally of humans. In fact, in many creation stories, humans were made from plant. Plant is food, medicine, protection, and conduit to the garden. Plant has feelings, intelligence, and awareness, and the ability to sense our intentions and respond to our actions. When plant visits, it's time to bring our awareness in closer, quieter, and listen to what the smaller voices of our ecosystem are saying. This plant, Caloglossa red moss, as the best elemental influence for how we choose our Eihwaz, our poison, so to speak, suggests our best efforts will be behind the scenes. Moss isn't a center stage life force, it's liminal, and as such, it occupies diverse space at once and demonstrates comfort with both light and shadow and everything between. It exudes calmness and soothing. This elemental support accepts all of who we are and encourages us to do the same. Season is the tone of the moment at hand and the resources we can best access for support, as well as respond to what support our ecosystem needs from us. Winter, Vêtre, is a time of rest, diligently grounding, testing endurance, measuring resourcefulness. It's the time of the wild hunt and standing in the danger of our dead. It's a time when the forest is less approachable and perhaps even hostile toward human persons. We're less involved with the outdoors and must pay closer attention to our reserves. Because of that, the world gets smaller in winter. It's stay inside and read a book energy that can easily be consumed with anxiety and despair. For this reason, a winter survival kit of a dream team and creature comforts may just be the thing to make use of the indoor time and stave off distress. This week, winter brings a cloistered space to examine how we're in relationship with how we're holding our unique gift alongside our actual experience of being here. That's a mouthful. In winter, we move slower. We're huddled for warmth and have ample stillness. We also may have a little too much family time happening, or perhaps we're cut off and lonely. Winter, in terms of pushing or diving into extremes, means go slow. Be methodic, be thorough and intentional in self-care. Winter also expresses the intimacy that's created when we do that self-focused work and bring that version of who we are into community. This winter solstice encourages us to acknowledge the places in which we're ready to press on into the second et and to be honest about the places that we aren't. This progression isn't about perfection or rushing. It's about thoroughness and honesty. Jera gives us the discernment to assess the situation and get together our plans and tools for how we go forward. It's a point of remembering, to put a soul-tending spin on the aftermath of surviving the winter trio. Eihwaz gives us the moxie to live out loud the version of us that was created in this experience of the second et, and the preparedness to hold on to that version with whatever comes after. The Galder that we're working with is, I would take these in single doses. I would not blend them together. Not saying that you can't, But for me, the timing of these is discrete, and I would work with them one at a time, each in their timing. For Jera, we're working with Yer, Jera, Jero, Yer, Jera, Jero. And with Eihwaz or Eihwaz, we're working with Eihwa, Yuwa, Eo. Thank you for walking with me and the runes on this crazy calendar year. It's been something, and I don't know about you, but I'm going into hiding for the rest of this Yule season. I wish you and yours the best. Be safe, be blessed in this holiday season. And if these are the kinds of runecasts you want every week, join my Runes for Change community at soulintentarts.com/join. Be well.